1995 was a pivot point for me. I was 12 and just starting 7th grade in Orlando, and honestly, I was heartbroken. My parents had moved us from Southern California to Orlando, and I felt like I was leaving my Hollywood dreams behind, and I was obsessed with JTT from Home Improvement and trying to figure out how to get my middle school crush to notice me. To me, cool was the high fashion of Clueless, which I couldn't afford, and a film like Hackers would have gone completely over my head. I didn't even own a computer at that time, but looking back now as an almost 43-year-old who has lived the Disney standard, seeing a young Angelina Jolie was a revelation. She wasn't just another 90s starlet, she was the blueprint for a new kind of sovereignty. See, in the Disney theme parks, your power is external. It's the dress, the wig, the name. You represent a kingdom and you follow its rules. But with Kate Libby, her power is internal. She has what I call individual sovereignty. But that's just a fancy way of saying she owns herself. She decided who she was and how she would move. It's not about ruling a land. It's about ruling your mind. Forget the stiff posture of a Disney princess. For years, my spine was trained to be a vertical line of curated perfection, a look standard designed for a pedestal. But when I look back at the 1995 cult classic Hackers, I see a different kind of discipline. Angelina Jolie didn't give us a performance of poise. She traded soft elegance for razor-sharp kinetic energy. And why does this blueprint still matter in 2026? Because it redefines what professional character discipline actually looks like. Stay with me, because at the end of the video, I'll tell you why this masterclass does not actually earn my recommendation, and it's not because of the tech. Now, I want you to think about Jasmine or Merida. They represent the rebels of my world, fighting against the standard. But even they had to exist within the palace walls. Acid burn is what happens when those princesses trade the palace for the motherboard. For those who don't know, the motherboard is like the central nervous system of a computer. It's where everything connects. She's mastering the very thing that powers her world. See, in the Disney park, you're taught to be passive, to be seen. Passive meant my power was tied to my appearance. But Jolie's power comes from her competence. She doesn't need your permission to be in the room. Kate Libby is built for utility. In the Disney parks, whether I was in a heavy coat or jasmine silks, my outfit was built for the gaze. A costume designed to be looked at, not to move in. But a cyber suit, that's a toolkit built for agility. It's the difference between a living mannequin and a technician who can get her hands dirty. And this is shadow professionalism, because it takes more physical control to make effortless cool look authentic than it does to follow a prefabricated etiquette manual. See, at Disney, the rules do the work for you. The right hand placements, specific head tilts. If you hit the marks, you're a princess. You don't decide how to move, you obey the template. To make messy look professional, there's no template to hide behind. Look at Angelina Jolie's hands. They aren't fidgeting, they move with precision. She is 100% present in her body, or else the cool just looks like a costume. What's interesting to me is the world wasn't ready for this armor, because in 1995, Hackers was a massive financial flop. It lost over $40 million. While Clueless was over there winning at the box office with preppy brands, Hackers was sitting in the shadows losing money because the general public didn't understand hacker culture yet. And at 12 years old, I certainly didn't. I didn't even have AOL yet. It was a failure by the standard. Just as a Disney princess, if she's not meeting that mark, she's seen as a failure. But now it's a cult classic on streaming, while other 1995 hits have been forgotten. It didn't break even, but it broke the mold. And now let's deconstruct the movement, because it's important to notice how Jolie uses stillness as a weapon in a high-stakes environment, and she doesn't fidget. She uses a fluid feline movement that contrasts the static posture of traditional heroines. Angelina Jolie doesn't just walk, she prowls. Think about how a cat moves. Every step is silent and controlled and looks like they could break into a sprint at any second. Watch Jolie when she's walking through the school hallways or the hacker club. She doesn't have the bouncy or staccato walk of a typical teenager. Her weight is shifted slightly forward and her steps are rolled from heel to toe, and this creates that smooth, continuous line of motion. Watch Jolie when she's at her computer. Her head and core stay relatively still while her hands do all the high-speed work. This stillness in the center while her movements are lightning fast is a hallmark of feline movement. It signals that she is the predator in the digital space, focused and efficient. A princess is loud visually, the rustling of her dress, the announcing of her presence through her posture, but Jolie's character often appears in a scene before the others or the audience even realize she's there. This is a deliberate acting choice to show that her character is comfortable in the shadows and doesn't need to perform for attention. She prioritizes tactical movement over aesthetic poise, and that is where her rogue royal integrity comes from. And this rogue energy is what launched Angelina Jolie. This was her first film, but even though the movie failed, her performance was so magnetic that it became a long-term jackpot for the studio. Oh, they lost money on the film, but they won the career of a future icon. And she didn't need a box office hit to prove that she was a queen, because her talent was the only credential she needed. She traded the preppy high fashion of 1995 for the mesh vinyl DIY aesthetic that we still see in streetwear today. This is the core of the Rogue Royal, because in my Disney days, if you weren't perfect, if you missed the mark of the Disney standard, you were failing the Disney brand. Because guests did indeed go up to guest relations and complain if you weren't up to snuff. But life isn't a parade. My friend Rachel Hankel and I used to be obsessed with Angelina Jolie's beauty, but watching her early work has shown me why her star power has lasted. She wasn't playing perfect. Jolie's blueprint prioritizes authenticity over optics. She's struggling for integrity in a fallen digital world, and that honest brokenness reflects our own search for grace. We don't need to hide our flaws in a tower. We need the grit to face them. I'm reminded of Paul in Romans 7, where he admits, "I do not do the good I want, but the evil I do not want, I keep on doing." So how do we apply this? Because today we're all fighting for our own digital sovereignty. We're being asked to prioritize truth over performance. The Rogue Royal energy is about finding the hidden discipline in the rebellion. It's backed by competence, the thousands of hours spent mastering your craft so that when you break the script, you do so with purpose. But for me, hidden discipline isn't just about physical training or coding. It's about who you are when no one's watching. In the film, they fought for a digital utopia where brilliance was the ultimate superpower. And while I love their grit, as a person of faith, I've learned that brilliance alone can be a lonely kingdom. I've realized that my hacking skills, or whatever talents I have, aren't actually mine. They're gifts. To me, the ultimate hidden discipline is the daily choice to submit my intellect to a higher sovereignty. It's about remembering that we don't have to hack the system to find our worth. We're already chosen. And that's the real secret to holding your space without a script. It's knowing whose you are before you decide who you're going to be. So from a 43-year-old perspective, do I suggest you run out and go watch Hackers today? Honestly, no. While the hacking scenes are hilariously dated, the film contains some content, the sexualization of a young woman, that I personally can't get behind. I watched the film because a viewer asked, and because I wanted to watch the blueprint for Angelina Jolie's breakout performance, and that's the takeaway. It's a masterclass in holding space and physical discipline, but you don't have to watch the movie to learn the lesson. The most powerful royals of 2026 are the ones who know how to walk through any gate without letting the environment change who they are. If you're ready to trade the performance for the masterclass and drop the mask for truth, hit subscribe. Let's keep breaking the script for something real. God bless.